The coastal town of Windmere was a place of quiet traditions and untold secrets. Tucked between rugged cliffs and a restless sea, its inhabitants lived by the rhythms of the tides. Among them was Clara Hastings, a young woman with an adventurous spirit, yearning to escape the confines of her predictable world. Every morning, Clara would walk along the windswept shore, collecting seashells and sketching the waves that crashed against the cliffs. The ocean was her sanctuary, the only place where she felt truly free. Her family, however, had other plans. Her father, a wealthy merchant, had arranged for her to marry Edwin Clark, a man of status and wealth but little charm. Clara's heart ached at the thought of a loveless union. One fateful evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson, Clara stumbled upon a figure near the water's edge. He was tall, with sun-kissed skin and dark hair that curled wildly in the salty breeze. His clothes were worn, but his eyes, a piercing green, held a spark of mischief and sorrow. Clara hesitated, unsure whether to approach, but the stranger noticed her and smiled. "Good evening," he said, his voice smooth and rich. "The sea seems restless tonight, doesn't it?" Clara nodded, curiosity overcoming her caution. "It always is, but tonight it feels different." The stranger extended his hand. "I'm Leo. I've just arrived in Windmere." "Clara," she replied, shaking his hand. His grip was firm but gentle, grounding her in the moment. Over the weeks that followed, Clara and Leo's paths crossed often. He was a sailor, he explained, who had left his ship to explore the coast. His stories of far-off lands and daring adventures captivated Clara, feeding the wanderlust that had always burned within her. In turn, she shared her sketches and dreams of a life beyond Windmere. Their connection deepened with each meeting, but it was not without its complications. Edwin, ever watchful, began to suspect Clara's growing fondness for the enigmatic sailor. He confronted her one evening at a town gathering. "You've been spending too much time by the sea," Edwin said, his tone cold. "It's unbecoming for a lady of your station." Clara bristled. "The sea is where I feel alive. It's not for you to decide where I go. You're to be my wife," Edwin snapped. "Your place is with me." Clara's defiance only strengthened her resolve to be with Leo, but she knew their love was fraught with danger. Her family would never accept a sailor, and Edwin's jealousy was a storm waiting to break. One moonlit night, Clara and Leo met at their favorite spot on the cliffs. The wind whipped through her hair as she gazed at him, her heart heavy with the weight of their impossible situation. "Leo, we can't go on like this," she said, her voice trembling. "If my family finds out, they'll send you away. Or worse." Leo took her hands in his eyes searching hers. "Then come with me, Clara. Leave Windmere. We'll find a place where no one can tell us how to live or love." Clara's heart soared at the thought, but fear held her back. "What if we fail? What if we lose each other? I would rather have one day with you, free and unbound, than a lifetime without you," Leo said. His words were a lifeline, pulling her from the depths of her doubt. The following dawn, Clara packed what she could carry and met Leo by the docks. The sea was calm, as if it, too, held its breath for their escape. Leo had secured passage on a small fishing boat that would take them to the nearest port. But as they prepared to board, shouts erupted from the shadows. Edwin and a group of men emerged, their faces twisted with anger. "Stop them," Edwin bellowed. Clara and Leo ran, the sound of footsteps and shouts growing louder. They reached the cliffs, where the edge of the world seemed to beckon them. Trapped and desperate, Clara turned to Leo. "If we jump, the sea might take us," she said, tears streaming down her face. "Then let it," Leo replied, his voice steady. "The sea has always been my home. I trust it to carry us." Hand in hand, they leapt, the wind roaring in their ears as the ocean rushed up to meet them. The villagers searched for days, but found no trace of Clara or Leo. Some claimed they had drowned, their love swallowed by the unforgiving waves. Others whispered that the sea had spared them, carrying them to a distant shore where they could live freely. Years later, sailors passing through Windmere told tales of a couple who lived on a remote island, their love as boundless as the sea itself. Clara's sketches and Leo's stories became legend, a reminder that love, like the ocean, could never truly be tamed. And on stormy nights, when the waves crashed against the cliffs, the villagers swore they could hear whispers of laughter and the haunting melody of a love song carried on the wind.